Hello, everyone. This is our Thursday learning session at Homeopathy for Humanity. And this week, Dr. Sanjay Solanke is going to talk to us about modalities. We just went through Bonninghausen's characteristic value of a symptom, and now we're going to have a slight review of modalities in general. A modality is something that changes a situation. A modality is the way something is experienced. It is the circumstances surrounding an event. Sanjay?
Thank you, Tikwa. Actually, this is just reviewing the past lecture what we had last time, but just in other words. It's the same. We know modalities, and I want you guys also take part in session, interactive, whatever you see on the screen. Okay, Tikwa.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, we'll start. We know the modalities. How we can define modalities?
It's the circumstances surrounding an event.
Right. And we have lots and lots of different modalities and can collect from patient subjectively or objectively also. And we will continue with those. First, we have this time modality. Symptoms that increase and decrease at the same or corresponding times comes under time modalities, such as worse at night. And further, this time modality is divided into two types: diurnal modality and specific modality. Diurnal modalities happening over a period of time, such as symptom aggravated at sunset to sunrise to sunset. A broad period.
Diurnal means during the daytime as opposed to nocturnal. So diurnal means during the daylight hours. That's why it says sunrise to sunset there, as opposed to nocturnal from sunset to daylight,
Yeah.
to sunrise.
And B, specific time. Increase and decrease in the intensity of the symptom at particular time. We have example here. Lycopodium, all complaints aggravate 4 to 8 p.m. and in Thuja at 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. Any other example we can give?
11 a.m. in Sulphur.
And
Helleboris is also 4 to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
But Helleboris is used a lot less frequently than Lycopodium.
Lycopodium is more prominent.
Right. But
between this time.
Even if our patient needs Lycopodium and they're not worse 4 to 8 p.m., they still might need Lycopodium. So don't think that if that modality isn't fulfilled, that we can't give Lycopodium, because we can.
Yeah, there are. This is the only part we are learning. This is criteria we try to understand, but it's not. We are talking about the lycopodium. We need to give lycopodium if this modality is there. We need to correlate with the other symptom also, right?
Right.
What is the second modalities? This is the first we can learn time modality. And other form, anyone else? Radhika?
Positional modality like uh,
Right,
accelerate,
right.
promotion, posture
Yes,
modality. Mm.
exactly. Posture modalities. Stationary position in which the person adapts, whether it's sitting, standing, sleeping, in order to decrease the symptom.
Yeah, there's a really great essay written by Boninghausen concerning
Yeah,
motion and rest, which is a fun one.
right. As such, by lying on painful side or by lying on painless side or accelerated in knee chest position. Knee chest position. Which remedy rubric is
Mm.
knee chest position? Sarana? Or aggravated by bending forward, ameliorated by bending double, ameliorated by bending double,
Ameliorated
photosynthesis,
bending double is folosynthesis.
yeah, by sitting erect or bending backward,
Diascoria.
yeah, by cross legs, supporting while sitting,
Etya.
supporting back with pillow. And one more symptom, Tikwa, you gave me a couple of years ago, lying flat.
Yes, lying flat.
Devara might remember who find that remedy for you. Do you remember? Amy.
No.
Amy gave you the remedy for that rule.
Who?
Amy,
Amy? Oh, okay.
huh?
Forgot. It was like 7 years ago.
Yeah, lying flat.
Mhm.
Posture modality. These are posture modality. Very important in analysis of these modalities. Then what is the next? You can't read there.
No, I can't read. I don't know what's next. I don't know what order you arranged this in.
Yeah. No, you can name any. I don't want the same order. Locomotor modality. Ability of person to move from one place to another, such as gait, walking, running, climbing step upwards, descending, climbing down, and means descending, ascending, then moving in circular motion, rising from seat. These are only examples. You can see
Yeah,
whatever what huh?
yeah, I was just gonna say
Tigwa?
these are very important examples. And these are also things that we can notice as when we are looking at the person, we will notice various things about their gait or their walking or as they come towards us and how they sit. These are things that we can observe as practitioners as well. So we don't always have to wait for people to say that they're like this or they're like that. We can also observe very carefully how people move and behave. And, if somebody's kind of dragging a foot, that's important, so we need to be paying attention as practitioners because
Yeah.
our objective viewing, it gives us a lot of information.
Exactly. All these modalities plays very, very important part and in totality. Then another, we have this weather, climate, season, right? It also plays a very important. Atmosphere in specific place within short period, such as foggy, rainy, windy. What type of weather is there in Israel?
Well, right now it is cold and windy
Rainy,
and rainy. Rainy, windy, and cold today where I live. Where Devera lives, it's probably less cold, windy, and rainy. Oh, and we also have thunderstorm. I heard thunder and lightning and hail just a little while ago. And you have
exactly.
it's nice
And
and warm now.
we have a hot summer,
Mhm.
really hot days. And evening it's cloudy and nights are cold. We have nice remedy, means hot days and cold night. This modality in
So Kamara,
Delcamara, hot days and cold night. It's specific remedy where we can say it's on the joint of season change, specifically from cold to hot. Then climate, average weather change over place, over a place, over a period of time. Can you explain me this? Average weather change over a place, over a time period of time. It's little bit long, can say. Means like Israel or Malut is having some different weather condition, like you say. And where Devera lives is having some different condition. During that time, the patient may suffer, feel better in specific climatic conditions, or where it is snowy, snow, or can say desert, hot places, such as hot or cold or rainy, in specific place.
like some people, they enjoy the desert more than they enjoy the seashore.
Exactly. Seashore aggravation, we have very nice. Vera, are you there?
I'm here. I didn't hear what you said.
I said we have very nice remedies where we see aggravation from seashores, on seashores.
Yes. I've actually never had a patient like that. So, but that is interesting.
Yeah, actually, that what makes seashore different from other places? It's that is the humidity, um, high humidity, concentrated humidity, right?
Right.
On seashore and aggravated in that condition, we have very nice nitramur, Thuja.
Natramur is both, right? I mean, it's aggravated or it can be ameliorated, right?
Yeah, it's individualized in nitramur.
Mm.
It has polar model. season, main period into which the year can be divided generally over a long period of time, like summer, rainy, and winter or spring, you can see. It's just making simplify the things.
So
Now
it's
next we
interesting.
have
When do we choose when do we choose the modality of, let's say in the winter, where someone says that their symptoms are aggravated in the winter? Where do you take winter and when do you take cold weather? What is the difference?
well, have you heard the question? Cold in general and winter. When we should take the symptom? Cold aggravate, winter aggravate.
I could give an example. You know, with the people that we help with things like seasonal affective disorder,
Yes.
generally worse in winter because,
Mood, okay.
right, because, you know, the sun is low on the horizon. They're not getting out and seeing the sun. There's lots of,
Hmm,
so I use winter for things like seasonal affective disorder
okay, that makes
as
sense.
opposed to cold.
Yes. Mhm.
Cold
Because
in
why would
general,
cold?
whenever there is a cold, irrespective of season, irrespective of season, I mean, it can be from weather condition. That time we can get cold modality.
Yeah, because cold can aggravate even with air conditioning.
Yeah, people can aggravate from
Do we take that
now.
as the same, is that the same rubric? I don't think so. I'm not sure. Air conditioning in cold weather
No,
aggravates?
not cold. Cold weather is different. Cold in general.
Yes,
Weather,
okay. Mhm.
yeah. Now next we see thermal modality. These are also very important in totality. Heat aggravate, heat we have dry heat, moist heat.
Or clings to the stove.
Yeah, we
That's
just saw in previous lecture. And cold also, heat, sorry, dry cold and wet cold. What is different between dry cold and wet cold? Or dry heat and moist heat?
the humidity.
Yeah, humidity is moist heat.
That's right.
And dry heat in desert or where I live, dry heat. And dry cold, a cold in the winter season. And even wet cold in rainy seasons. It's also associated with humidity, vapor, water vapors.
That's right. For example, in most temperate climates, there will be wet cold. And in most
Right.
places that are, and then in other places, it's like, you know, where it's desert like, it'll be dry cold if it gets cold at all.
Then we have external stimuli. How
What's,
important
but what are
is this?
stimuli? What are stimulus? Stimuli. Stimuli is the plural of stimulus, but what is stimulus?
Radhika, what is stimulus?
Noise aggravates.
Trigger.
Yeah, noise aggravates, light aggravates. Something like that. Touch aggravates.
No. He is asking meaning of word stimulus.
Stimulus.
What is stimulus?
Anything which triggers
Triggers.
the symptom.
Take why
Maybe a trigger, maybe a trigger.
yeah.
Yeah, it's something that touches, like to stimulate, to touch.
Trigger, right? Reaction of the person to external, to pressure, to touch, to light,
See how we
to
have that,
noise.
we see that one B, touch, fine touch, and crude touch. We see this over and over again in the proving data with fine touch. Remember that we have the fine stitches, and then we have the obtuse stitches, which would be the crude touch, a broader touch than a fine touch. So you have a fine, small touch that is a narrow thing. Like, you know, if you touch somebody with a pencil, you're going to poke at them with a pencil. That is a fine touch. If you're going to take your phone and you're going to hit them, that's more of an obtuse touch.
Sensitive reaction to noise. Then rubbing. Pressure also, slightest pressure or tight bandage. I also remember, Tikwa, you told me one term. Tight band, round.
Mhm.
Yeah?
Yep, that band
Around
sensation
chest.
in quite a few different remedies.
And then fine touch, good touch, light we see, dim light, bright light, sunlight, artificial light. Artificial light, artificial light.
Bulb light other than sunlight.
Light bulbs.
We have natural light and artificial light. Natural light, we have sunlight, we have moonlight, and artificial light, whatever we are sitting in this light. Then how
Good old
dim or
lead.
bright? Huh?
I said good old leadium.
Yeah.
LED lights are called leadium in Hebrew.
And rubbing. It's always unintentional, unlike massaging, in which external ointment or lotion.
Is rubbing always unintentional? I don't think so. Because let's say that you have a pain in your knee and you're going to rub it. You're going to intentionally rub that pain in your knee. But how your body, how you react to that rubbing is
Words in bracket.
yeah, I don't know why this is here. In which external ointments or lotions are used. They're talking about massage, but they're saying that rubbing.
Yeah.
But they're saying here in this PDF that rubbing is unintentional, but that's not true.
Unlike massage.
Yeah,
But who does massage means that for sort of pain? Rubbing, we can say somebody is having knee pain, like you said, and he rubs his knee or asks to pressure. What do you call? What is the word for that
To rub it.
rabbit?
Yeah, people like if they have something that hurts them, lots of times they'll rub it and see if that makes it feel better. And that is totally outside of therapeutic massage, but it's still rubbing. Man, rubbing can be entirely intentional. We intentionally rub things. Then you have things like let's say in graphites, you'll have like the rubbing of clothes against the thighs can create a rash or something like that. Or the thighs rubbing together can create a rash. That's unintentional rubbing. Other rubbing is intentional because, if my ear doesn't feel right and I'm going to rub it, I'm doing that intentionally. It's my response to the rubbing that's important.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there is unintentional rubbing. For example, the thighs rubbing together when hiking. Everybody knows about that. That can create a big problem, especially when there's sweat involved. A lot of people complain about that, and rightly so. But rubbing is not always unintentional because see, I've been having a little problem with my shoulder. So, every once in a while I'll ask for it to get rubbed, right? I'll ask for help rubbing my shoulder and it helps it feel better. So rubbing is not always unintentional. The rubbing together or the friction of body parts or the rubbing of clothes upon the skin and things like that, that can be unintentional.
The next, see food and drinks. What do you say about this? Longing and loathing. Longing and loathing. Right?
Yep, longings and loathings and foods that react badly.
Yeah. Some people have intense craving for sour, sweet. These are only examples. Spicy, pungent food and drink. But as soon as they consume, they end up with diarrhea, vomiting, joint pain, itching, allergic, nausea, indigestion in same day or preceding day. Aggravate by eating indigested things. But we need to understand the whole picture. How food affects mortality.
Yeah, sometimes for example, there's a rubric, farinaceous food aggravates. But you have to be careful with farinaceous food because if people are eating processed white flour as a farinaceous food, that aggravates a lot of people because of the chemicals that are sprayed on the plants and the things that are used in order to bleach the flour. Like white flour is treated, it's given bromine and all kinds of different things to make it whiter and fluffier and more beautiful. But people will react sometimes to these things done to the food as opposed to it just being the food itself. So we have to look a little deeper lots of times when people say they have, like so many people nowadays say they have gluten intolerance. They just say it all the time. But you have to ask, what do you mean
Yeah,
exactly?
a lot of people say gluten intolerance, sugar intolerance, then milk intolerance.
Yeah, you really have to
Very
go a little
common list.
deeper. You have to go a little deeper. What happens when? Have you tried organic, etc., etc.? Because people, when they say that they can't tolerate dairy, but if they try organic dairy, sometimes they're fine. when people say they can't eat wheat, but they try an organic whole wheat, sometimes they're fine. So really, the process of how they make modern processed foods can be a problem for people. And that we need to look a little deeper when it comes to these things.
And we have
So farinaceous means food also.
yes, Radhika.
Yeah, so farinaceous, under farinaceous, we can also take intolerance to processed food. Right? Does it mean that?
Question for you, Tikwa.
No, farinaceous food needs things that are made out of flours, like wheat flour.
Maida.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not
Maida.
made of flour.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Physiological elimination
Mhm.
includes urine passes when coughing, pain ameliorates after stool, or by sweating. We have these symptoms in proving data. Anything from your side on this type, Tikwa?
I always have something to say. And these are very important. And we also need to let people know that we can help them with these kinds of problems. And particularly, I was recently listening to a woman talking about how she can't jump up and down without peeing her pants. And I'm like, oh, she needs help from a homeopath. So these things are very important.
Then we have phases.
The stage of life.
I write this, but I didn't know how to explain this.
Now, this is good. The stage of life rubrics come from Herring. Herring put these in the ends of each of the provings in the guiding symptoms. It has the stages of life. And so we know that certain things are more indicated in various phases.
Even repertory, we so see that means infants, babies, then children, then girls,
Adolescence
young
often
girls,
comes under the rubric for puberty.
and then old people.
Yeah, so like I
Yeah.
said, these are good to know.
Yeah,
They can
we
help
have
you.
rubric in repertory, dynamic, like generally it is old people, generally it is children's, generally it is infants, and
Which can
next
all be found in Herring's guiding symptoms at the end of each proving data.
Is Herring really proving data, or is it a,
He takes the proving data and then he takes also, what's the word? Not the proving data, but the cured symptoms.
Mhm.
What's the name of that
clinical,
data? Clinical. Yeah.
clinicals,
Yes, it's a mixture of clinical and proving. So for example, you're at the Herring, you see that he talks, okay, this was proved by Hahnemann in such and such a date, and then it was reproved by, let's say, Hughes at such and such a date, and then he adds in a bunch of clinicals. And the clinicals all come with this funny little oval with a line, and that means it's a clinical symptom. The
Yes.
oval with the line, which means that it was seen. And so he has a broader broader thing of provings. And that's how we know infancy, childhood, puberty, adult, old age, because of a lot of those clinical inclusions.
It's actually easier to read than Hahnemann's. The only thing is, when we look at the materia medica pura or chronic diseases, there are insights in there that we don't see anywhere else.
That's true. 100%.
Yeah.
But when it comes to some remedies, we don't have them from Hahnemann at all.
Right.
So, I
We see
And
earlier,
then-
we see physio,
and they could also look
Here-
at Nair's repertory. Is very, very helpful to use with our guiding symptoms.
Which one? Which one?
Nair,
Nair?
Knerr. He has,
Yeah.
it's that one
Not
that,
familiar.
oh, come on. I post it sometimes. It has the, what's it called for the guiding symptoms? It's got, what do we call it? My mind is like
pathological,
blank. It's not just-
pathological.
It's not just pathological, and for some reason, people are calling this pathological, and people use this in quote unquote pathological cases. And I actually have a question of what they mean by pathological cases, because what does pathology mean? Pathology means a change from the other state. So, okay, we're going to leave that part aside because that is a question, and I would like to go through that question because this is important. And I saw that there's an advertisement for people to learn how to use Nair's repertory. But Nair's repertory is an index, there we go, an index of Herring's guiding symptoms. So if we go for a certain symptom in Nair's repertory, then that takes us to which proving data we need to study. And that's how I use my Nair.
And
How
where
do
do you find that? Is that in the same website with the other ones?
It is, it's right there.
Oh,
And I
okay.
just use them back to back. But people also have, I sent a PDF of Nair a couple weeks ago.
Oh my goodness. I'm not on top of things.
And how do you use your Nair?
Huh?
How do you use Nair's repertory?
I use only for pathological investigation.
Explain that more. I want to
It's,
understand how people are using this instead of using it to know
No,
which.
no, I don't know. Don't know how other people use, but I see like we see increase blood cells, is white cell, platelets, decrease, increase. This see lot of such symptoms.
So give us an example of how you use.
Like
Nair.
serum calcium level or electrolytes, blood serum electrolyte changes. And whatever you see according to there,
So you use it only for like lab reports instead of
yeah.
how you go to which remedy to look to read through in the guiding symptoms and the proving data?
So first we look at the reports, then we try to find probable remedies, and then try to search the totality that remedy.
Okay, but at what point would you use the Nair?
No, I don't actually refer each and every case. So
Because you said that you
whenever
did.
no, I use, but it doesn't mean that I use in each and every case. Whenever it is difficult to find or come to a conclusion what we have to do, we see of remedies in repetition. After those investigation, we can go through this totality, whatever remedy has been given you, and look with the lab reports to the repertoire. And then it gives some group of remedy. Then we try to understand the chart and this repertory bring us. It's very hard work. So,
Yeah, I'm just listening.
okay. Next, we
So
have
you're definitely sure that
conditions.
this is the same Nair that's the index to Herring's Guiding Symptoms? He only has one book, right? There's only one Nair's repertoire.
But yeah, it's only one.
Right, so I'm using Nair's repertory in order to find symptoms in general and where to find them in proving data. And you're using them without going to the proving data.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now this slide we see hence condition and unnatural,
I like that word,
narrated by bleeding.
unnatural elimination.
I'm narrated by bleeding, narrated by reduction, expectations, flatulence, diarrhea, vomiting, amylation, eating, menses, scratching, first discharge, bathing. Very typical, very peculiar. Huh?
Yeah, where's the
Who feels
unnatural elimination here? Like, we need some examples of an unnatural elimination.
actually everything is unnatural. Vomiting is not natural.
Even pus is not natural.
Uh, diarrhea.
But diarrhea is a natural response.
Yeah, it's the response, but it's not natural.
But it is a natural response.
What about
You can
eructation?
see
I thought eructation is natural.
everything, if you look like that, everything is natural.
Right, because the body has a
But
natural function. Okay, let's say you eat something bad. Okay, and then you're going to vomit and have diarrhea. That is the way the body gets rid of the toxins in the system. It's totally natural. It's when the body can't get rid of the toxins in the system that we have a problem. Hahnemann explains this very clearly, that if there is a problem, the body knows how to respond, but if the body can't respond, that's when there needs to be treatment. Or let's say if the body responds too much, that would also be an indication for treatment. But if somebody just eats something bad and they have diarrhea the next morning, then we don't need to do anything. We could just sit back and relax. We can give placebo if we need to, but we could just sit back and relax and just let the body do its thing. It's like how not every fever needs to be treated. And not all these eliminations are not necessarily unnatural, because it's the way the body is intended to function. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, now it does.
And now we have last but not least is psychological and mental. Lot of people nowadays putting lot of weightage on this part. Whole methodology is being developed on this. Person's internal state of being and psychological response, an object or a situation based on tied to a physical state or sensory data, such as aggravated, emulated by crying, by expressing anger. You can
Throws things
say,
from the hand. I like that one. I like that one. And that's in the provings.
which one?
Throws things from the hand, picks things up and hucks it, right? When they're mad.
Yeah, throws thing,
Uh-huh.
throws thing.
So no, no, these are important.
But you have studied other methods, metaphorical people are using, that is a wrong way. But we are not here to comment on that part. It is very important category in the modalities, even animal included that sensorum part. Mental, the proving data we find the end of that remedy, right?
Well, it depends on which proving data you're going to. The earlier provings had the sensorium and the mental state. One, the sensorium first and the mental state last. But then later on in the provings, it became mind, then sensorium in the schema. And so it depends on which books you're using. If you're using Allen, you're going to get mind first, then sensorium. If you're using Herring's Guiding Symptoms, you're going to have mind, sensorium. If you are looking at the Materia Medica Pura, you're going to have sensorium with mind at the end. And then if we are looking at the chronic diseases with the provings of the antisporics, we are going to have mind, sensorium.
Here it ends. So, how was it? This is a just short. I made this. We explain modalities when we are that time we didn't get much time, so we decided to do it separately.
Well, I think that it's good to do it separately because, you know, they have the certain poetic beauty of how Bonninghausen presents the modalities and how things happen, the situations around the symptoms, the circumstances, and the way he puts it together is just so elegant. Then I think that having this review later on, I think it belongs separately. Not that there wasn't enough time, it's just the way I wanted it to be.
I think the
Yeah,
session was good. What do you say?
this way we can go slow also. I mean, concentrate on one topic and it is more understandable, usable.
And, Vera, What do you say?
I'm sorry, I didn't even hear the question.
Tikva,
Hmm.
what is the question?
You could ask her again.
Okay, I just ask how you what do you think about today's session?
About what?
Today's this learning.
This learning sessions?
Yeah, today's.
Do I have to say it again? I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah, because last time I have made this slide presentation for previous session where Tikwa teaches us about Boning Hussein.
Right. See, what the problem is here, Devera, is that he wanted me to tag this on to the end of Boninghausen's characteristic value of a symptom. And I said,
Mhm.
no, let's do it as a separate event because I don't want the beauty of the recordings of Boninghausen to be interrupted with this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think there's any, yeah, I think that's
No,
fine.
I wanted this to be separate.
Yeah, I think that's
Yes,
okay.
And he's asking if you liked it this way.
I'm fine with it either way, either way.
Okay.
Well, so
So we
topic
have to
ends
figure out
here.
what we're gonna do. We have to figure out what we're gonna do on Thursdays, not next Thursday, because we know what next Thursday is, right? Right, right?
Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely.
Next Thursday night is crashed out on the couch.
Yes.
Okay, then the Thursday after that, we have to come up with a cunning plan of something fun to learn on Thursdays.
How's that we begin organon on video?
Yes, good idea.
Aphorisms.
Very good idea.
We can
Question is-
take small, if the aphorism is small, we can take 2, 3, 4, 5 aphorism together. If aphorism is large, then we can just have one aphorism. We could do like this. We could read that aphorism and we can comment on that part with our perspective.
The only
Learn
problem
from.
I have with doing that, is that the propensity to bring in other commentators.
Which other comment?
You know, people then bring up Roberts and his take on it, or Kent and his take on it, kind of thing.
What do you say? Means, do you think that will comment?
So I think it's important because that's the problem. That's where the mix-up is. And I think, so if you want to
No, no.
teach people, yeah.
We are coming here and we know that we have 5, 6 people altogether. If altogether come maximum 8, 9 people. And only us. Nobody is coming. Do you think that go on commenting video like that? I don't think. If other will come. When we are talking about organon 6th edition, then I think it's only us who are going to comment. but it could be a really nice to understand the aphorism, exact words.
Yeah, but even between us, there are people who learned the organon differently and from different translations, and they have a different understanding. And Tikva, I think so that I think it's important that people say what they learned and their understanding, and then explain to them why they're wrong. No, no, that's not what I meant. And then, help them understand that that's not
Can
what
you
Hahnemann. What's
can you
that?
just close the recording?
Oh, yeah, yeah, don't include what I just said.
It's okay. Only like 20 people watch this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I mean,
No,
yeah,
there are people that I see people commenting, people like it, people have subscribed.
yeah. So if Francine watches this and she heard what you said,
Yeah, I know. But she, believe me, every day she thanks me.
Mhm. Of course she
So,
does. Mhm.
yes, yes.
See,
Can just
Francine is really thankful.
stop recording.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us today, and tune in next time where we will try to find something fun and interesting for us to go through on Thursday night. And remember, on Sundays, we are still plowing through Materia Medica Pura bit by bit with our 10-year program, because we are still on Arnica. Just wait till we get to our Arsenicum. That is going to take 10 weeks. So this is the 10-year program of learning Hahnemann's Materia Medica Pura on Sundays. Okay, thank you for joining us today.
Good night.
Oh, and you can like and subscribe if you have made it to the end of this video.